Hello friends, Mandar here. I'm back with another video. Today the November 2021 visa bulletin is out this morning and I thought I would make a summary video out of it. There are some surprises in this visa bulletin and we'll talk about it. I'm also going to give you some important tips that will be useful to you because those have come across as questions on a lot from a lot of people. And then after reading the visa bulletin and comparing it with the last months, I have some predictions or speculations to make what we might see in the upcoming visa bulletins. So if you're interested in this topic, watch this video until the end and let's get started. And by the way, I also have an announcement for the giveaway that I mentioned in my previous video. So we'll talk about it at the end of the video as well. So let's get started. If you're here for the first time, welcome. My name is Mandar and I make immigration related videos for US and Canada. I'm not an immigration lawyer, so anything that I say on this video or on my channel is for information purpose only. And for your specific immigration needs, you should hire a competent immigration lawyer. So if you are somebody who is in the green card process and if you are from one of those backlog countries in the United States going through the process, you know what to do every month. Month after month, you pay the bills, you pay your rents, you pay your kids' tuition, and then you also watch the visa bulletin. So as usual, we got this visa bulletin for November, which I think the Department of State lately has been releasing visa bulletins on a regular basis early on in the month. We used to see this bulletin come in the third week of the month for a long time. So it's nice to see that they are now releasing it in the earlier part of the month. Now remember, this November visa bulletin will still be effective from 1st of November. So if your date becomes current as part of this visa bulletin, you still cannot apply for your 485 until 1st of November. But you can still go ahead and start collecting your documents and be ready on that day one on November 1st to start applying for your 485. Now, as usual, I'll do the comparative analysis, side-by-side analysis of the two visa bulletins, comparing October visa bulletin, which is the current month's visa bulletin, with the November visa bulletin, which is the new one. So let's look at it. So as usual, we have the October visa bulletin on the left and the new November visa bulletin on the right. So it goes through the statutory numbers. If you don't know how to read this visa bulletin, you can check out my video. I'll put in the link in the description and also put it somewhere out there. It goes into the details how to read the visa bulletin, and it is very important especially if you are in the process. So let's look at the family section first. First, we'll look at the final action chart for family preference category. Now here you will not be surprised because month after month in the last couple of months, Charlie has told us that there will not be any moment in the final action chart for family preference categories, and that's exactly what we see heading on from October to November. So as you can see, all the dates for F1 category are exactly the same. They are at 1st of December 2014 for all chargeability India and China, and for Mexico it's 15 January and 1st of March 2012. They remain exactly the same. For F2A category, this category remains current. So if you are in this category, basically if you are a spouse and children of permanent resident, you are current. So as long as you fulfill all the documentation, you can immediately apply for adjustment of status in F2A category. So that remains current as well. F2B category also has no changes. So all chargeability China and India remain at September 22nd, 2015, and Mexico remains at March 15, 2000, and Philippines at October 22nd, 2011. So if your date is on or before this particular dates in this chart processed, if you have already applied for your 485. F3 and F4, all the dates exactly remain the same. November 22nd, 2008 for all chargeability India and China, and 15th of May 97 for Mexico, and June 8th 2002 for Philippines. And F4 category, all the dates again remain the same. All chargeability in China is at March 22nd, 2007. India is at September 15th, 2005, Mexico at February 8th, 99, and Philippines at August 22nd, 2002. So as expected, no dates have moved. What does it mean for the family based category? This final action date chart usually means where USCIS is in terms of processing of the applications that are already in the pool. So remember, FB category typically uses the other chart, which is the filing date chart throughout the year or most of the year. And so these dates only signify that where does USCI stand in terms of processing time frame for these applications that are already in the pool. So now let's go to the second chart for FB category, which is the filing chart, filing date chart. So if you look at this chart also exactly remains the same. So this is also not a surprise because they have enough demand, and Charlie has been telling us that they have already have enough demand from the FB category in all of these subcategories, so they don't need any extra applications. So that's the reason you are seeing all the dates remain the same. Now the good news is that they haven't retrogressed any dates as they did in the EB category, and we are going to come to that. But fortunately they haven't retrogressed any dates for family based category. So what that means is they have exactly the same number of applicants that they have the visa numbers available for. It's just a matter of they don't have any extra visas, so they can't progress the dates, or the visa numbers are not going to be falling short for the demand that they already have, so they don't need to retrogress either. So that's what that means. So as you can see, all these dates, I will not read out all the dates, but you can see that for F1, F2A, F2B, F3 and F4, the dates remain exactly the same. So now let's go to the employment based category. Now here in the first section, let's look at the final action dates for employment based category. Remember, final action date chart is currently not being used for application of 485 for employment based. We are going to look at if they have changed anything, but my speculation is they are not going to use this chart until January. So what this date represents, final action chart represents, it represents where does USCIS stand in terms of processing your 485 applications that have already been submitted. So they have the pool of 485 applications, and they are currently processing the dates on or before the ones mentioned in this chart. So basically let's look at EB1 category. It all remains current in the new visa bulletin, so no change there. So if you are in the EB1 category, you are good to go. As soon as your I-140 is approved, you are ready to go to the next stage of 485 or adjustment of status. There is no wait time. The wait time is only in terms of processing time once you apply, that nobody has any control on, but in terms of applications you have no wait time. EB2 category, now it's current for all chargeability. There is a progression from July 1st of 2018 to November 15th of 2018 for China, which is a good progression of 5 months. Current for El Salvador, and for India it has also progressed by 4 months. So from September 1st 2011 to December 1st 2011. So what does this mean? This means that now your green card can come anytime if your date is on or before December 1st of 2011. Your application is now being processed for final adjustment of status, and you should be able to get your green card pretty soon. It's not sitting. In other words, it's not sitting. It's now in motion. Now you should get your green card. The EB3 category, let's see, current for all chargeability. For China, it's actually retrogressed. It has gone from January 8th 2019 to March 22nd 2018. So it has retrogressed by almost 10 months. This is not a surprise because Charlie had told us in the previous visa bulletin that EB3 category for the backlog countries India and China is going to retrogress in November, and it is consistent with it. But the retrogression is really dramatic. This is what I feared. So remember last year. Now let's look at what is India. India has retrogressed by 2 years for EB3 category. This is incredible, and this is really bad. The reason is they progress these EB3 dates way beyond too much and too fast in the last in the entire last year, and that is why this is happening. I think they did not anticipate the demand that it would create by progressing this date. They went all the way up until 2015, January 2015, when they did the progression last year around this time, and then they retrogressed to January of 2014, and it stayed there throughout the year. Now we are seeing it retrogress from January 1st, 2014 to January 15th, 2012. This is incredible, and this was not expected. I was expecting it might retrogress by few months, maybe a 6 months or a year maybe, but 2 years is too much. What that tells us is the applications that they have received throughout the last year and up until last month for 485 for EB3 category have been a huge number of applicants, and you can see why do you think that happened? A lot of people are downgrading the applications from EB2 to EB3, and that's where I'm going to go through some of my tips that I'm going to give right after we go through this chart. But that's why these dates are retrogress. They were aggressively moved forward. It created tons of demand. They got tons of applications in this category. Now they have to retrogress this back, and I hope they have retrogressed enough so that we don't see any further retrogression in the upcoming months. For other workers category, China also has progressed, but for India it has retrogressed, unfortunately. For the religious worker category remains unavailable. EB5 non-regional center category remains current for everybody except China, and EB5 regional center category remains unavailable, so you cannot apply in that category right now. So if you have watched this video so far, I'd like to take a moment and remind you to like this video and subscribe to my channel, because that really motivates me and helps the channel grow, and it keeps me going to make further videos for you. So please hit the like button if you haven't already so far. Now, in a nutshell, what has happened, we have seen no changes in the family base category in final action date chart or in the filing date chart. So the charts remain exactly the same from October to November. So for EB2 category for India and China has progressed by few months, by 3 to 4 months each. But for EB3 category, we have seen big retrogression for China and also a big retrogression for India. Now here are some of the tips. I have received infinite number of calls, infinite number of consulting requests and emails and comments saying, should I downgrade from EB2 to EB3? My date is within 6 months of becoming current for EB2, within a year of becoming current for EB2, or even some are even saying my date might become current even next month for EB2. And should I downgrade? I keep telling everybody, don't play this gamble. If you are within 6 months or even 8 months, I would say to a year of your EB2 date becoming current, don't bother downgrading. Don't waste your money, because eventually you are going to even out in terms of timelines. And now, as you can see, too many downgrade petitions are taking effect and taking a toll on EB3 category, and EB2 is starting to move a little faster. So I would again repeat, if you are within 6 months to a year of range of your date, EB2 date becoming current, don't bother to downgrade at all. This is all gamble. You don't want to play this gamble. It's your money, it's your time. Look at what is happening in the near future and make a decision. Now, another thing that I would like to remind is, a lot of people have been in this adjustment of status stage for a long time, and somehow their date is become current, and now they are within the reach of getting their green card. Now, if your final action date is current and if you are contemplating changing a job, I would say don't change job. Even though there is a AC21 rule of job portability, if your final action date is already current, you are within the reach of getting your I-485 approved and getting your green card. Why do you want to unnecessarily go through the process of job change and starting all these applications again and add a few months of delay if something goes wrong? I would just wait it out for the next few months. Put your job change on hold. This is only applicable to people who are final action date is current and very close to getting their green card. That's what my suggestion would be. But do as you feel fit. If it's an incredible opportunity that you cannot lose, then you can take that plunge. But in other cases, just wait it out until you get your green card and then change your job. And then another tip I wanted to give you is, if you are contemplating travel while your final action date is current and it's within the reach of getting your green card, do not travel for the next few months. It's just because if there is an RFE, if there is any question by USCIS, if there is a phone call and anything like that, you don't want to delay your case in the final stretch of this green card. You have waited long enough. It's been several years and decades, and now for the final few months, just be in the process. Try to avoid any non-emergency travel, and so that you can get your green card, and then you are free to do whatever you want. So that's just my suggestion. Now, I also wanted to point out something else that I noticed in the last month's visa bulletin. There was a section where the State Department speculated what is going to come in the next month. So this section, visa availability in the upcoming months, but in the November visa bulletin I don't see that section. So what that means is, in this in the last month there was a mention of a retrogression of this date could occur as early as November, which has happened for China and India, but nothing has been mentioned in the November visa bulletin. Now what that tells me is, either they don't have the visibility for what might happen or how much demand they still have, or most likely is they are done with the retrogression for EB category, for EB2 or EB3, not for EB2 but for EB3. So like they mentioned that there is an anticipated retrogression in November, which has already happened and it's significant. Now with the missing information, I feel that they are done with the EB3 retrogression. Now everything will move up from here on. From this point on, I think EB2 and EB3, India and China, are set to move upward in the upward direction. They are done with the retrogression, and that's what I anticipate to hear from Charlie when his interview comes next. Now let's look at when his chat with Charlie. This month's chat is scheduled to take place on October 26th at 1 p.m. EST about the November visa bulletin. I'll make a summary video as usual after the interview on November 26th as per this visa bulletin. We'll wait for our questions to be answered by Charlie, but all in all, I think this has been expected of EB3 retrogression in this month. And remember my tips: if you are on the border or on the fence, hold off on your downgrade petitions. You might be better off just waiting on EB2 dates to become current, and that might be the faster process for you to get the green card. Now before we end this, let's look at what chart is going to be used. So they still haven't posted which chart will be used, but I can tell you that for the month of November also USCIS might use the filing date chart for EB category. Typically they start using the final action date chart starting January. Now before we end this video, I just wanted to remind you of my giveaway that I mentioned in my last video. I have a Nike sports band, which is a Summit white color band, that I want to give away. So if you want to be part of that giveaway, I'll put the instructions in my description of this video as well. All you need to do is like and subscribe to my channel, like to this video, and also make a comment. So good luck everybody, and I'll see you in the next one.